We've received some questions about guardian ad litems. So I'm Heather O'Connor from O'Connor Family Law, and we're gonna get those questions answered for you. The first one is, what is a guardian ad litem? Now, guardian ad litem is somebody who the court appoints. You can agree, but there has to be an order, at least in Massachusetts where we practice, from the court that appoints a guardian ad litem. Now, this is somebody who comes in and does an independent evaluation, investigation into what is going on and what's going on with the allegations. So typically they interview the parents, they interview the children, they interview what we refer to as collaterals, which are third parties that each parent says, hey, we want you to talk to them so they can tell you how great of a parent I am, basically. There's DCF involvement. They might speak with the social worker, they might speak with doctors, they might speak with school teachers. There's a whole breadth of people who a GAL can talk to figure out what exactly is going on and make recommendations to the court. So a sub question to the main question was, do guardian ad litems just pick the parent with the better paying job? And the very easy answer to that is no. A job is going to have very little to do with what the allegations are, unless of course it's a situation where one parent just flat out cannot afford and is homeless, which would present a situation where the child is also homeless. That's where a job would likely play in. Or the other issue where a job might play in is if a parent works so much that they just can't be there. If a parent is working 100 hours a week but wants 50-50 and has no plan on how they're going to take care of the child, well, that is going to be relevant. But the job itself, probably not. The next sub-question, is there anything you should not say to a GAL? Now, I can't answer that within this video because that is so case specific. There are probably things you shouldn't say, and there are probably things that you should say but shouldn't say them in a certain way. That's really where you should have discussions with your attorney and talk about how to present your side of the case when you're speaking with the GAL. Next question is, how long does a GAL investigation take? Now, I would love to say that they're all super quick and you can have them done within 3 months. Unfortunately, in reality, that is not always the case. We have had some GAL investigations that drag on for months and months and sometimes into years. And it's a process that in some cases is very necessary, but in some cases just acts to prolong something because one parent just doesn't want to move forward. If you're going in for a GAL, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and not just because you don't want the other side to have something. Make sure there's something validly backing up your position. Who pays for the GAL? That really depends on what the judge orders. Typically, if you're asking for a GAL in Massachusetts, the judge is going to order that both parties pay. Now, what can happen in certain situations is the judge can say, well, parent A is going to pay upfront subject to reallocation, which basically means that after the investigation is all over, the judge can then go back and say, okay, well, even though this parent paid all of it, we're still going to make this other one responsible for some or all of the costs. Now, another thing that can happen, and again, don't go into requesting a GAL hoping that the state will pay. However, the court can appoint a GAL and have the state pay for it. So those are the 3 ways you're typically going to see a GAL paid for. And the last question in this subject is, what does a GAL look for? I've served as a GAL, so I'm only going to speak from my own experience. What I'm looking for are really, what are the facts that aren't just he said, she said? What can be backed up by documentation, by other evidence, so I can figure out who's probably telling more of the truth and where the holes are. Then it's a matter of what's just the reality of the situation. Parent A might want the kids all the time, but that's just not practical based on their situation. Then we're also looking at what other types of investigations have been done. DCF, is there any social work out there? Are there anything else that another neutral third party might have looked at? And what kind of weight should be given to that? Are there issues of domestic violence, substance abuse, unhealthy situations, or an unhealthy environment that would not be conducive to raising a child in a healthy situation? So all of that is going to be taken into consideration, as well as what the parents say. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. People screw up. But do you take responsibility for that? Do you own that? And what's your plan to make sure that doesn't happen again? So that's something that I would look for as I go through a GAL investigation. Every GAL is going to be a little bit different. Everybody is going to have their own things that they really look for in an investigation. So the best thing you can do is, again, have a discussion with your lawyer and come up with a plan. So I hope that was helpful. Heather O'Connor, O'Connor Family Law, and I hope you have a great day.